So, in January, Donald Trump is moving into the White House. The Senate and the House of Representatives are also controlled by Republicans. A complete defeat for the Democrats.
What do the election results say about the mood in American society? What does Trump's victory mean for us? Will Washington's foreign policy direction change? We'll discuss this with Russian political analyst and radio TV host Sergei Mikheev.
Hello, Sergei. In your opinion, what ensured Donald Trump's victory, and what societal trends does this event reflect?
In my view, he won quite naturally because a number of factors worked in his favor. Firstly, he is a striking personality, much more so than both Biden and Harris. Secondly, I believe there is a strong demand in American society for a more traditional perspective. Because in my opinion, people in America hold traditional values but are simply tired of the liberal rhetoric of the Democratic Party. Thirdly, I think Trump outplayed the Democrats in terms of his team. He gathered quite prominent figures like Musk, Kennedy Jr., Tucker Carlson, and this contributed to his victory. In my opinion, he also won in 2020. Most likely the Democrats just fully utilized administrative resources back then, but this time it didn't work. Either some Democratic governors decided not to engage in this, and besides, in the previous elections, the Republican Party wasn't fully consolidated behind Trump, but now all Republicans seem to have agreed to support Trump by all means. And all this led to Trump's victory. I think it's quite natural and reflects the trends in the American political class. This includes the degradation of the democratic liberal discourse and ideology on one hand. On the other hand, there's a demand for a relatable person who can communicate with the average voter in the States.
Will U.S. policy change regarding the Ukrainian and Middle Eastern crises? Trump has already called his new term a golden age and promised to stop military conflicts.
The Ukrainian and Middle Eastern crises are completely different situations, so they can't be equated. Will U.S. foreign policy change in general? Well, probably it will. However, these elections showed that the average American voter doesn't really care about U.S. foreign policy. Regarding Ukraine, Trump's victory is certainly bad news for them, because Trump is much cooler towards all foreign policy projects. He may even have a negative attitude towards Ukraine and Zelensky. And he has been quite open about it. His main focus is economic issues. He believes too much money is spent on Ukraine, and it's unclear why. And indeed, it's unclear because, as I've always said, Ukraine is an overrated propaganda asset for the West. I think Ukrainians will shed bitter tears when they realize they are being left behind. Yes, and all this bloodshed is for nothing. The Middle East is a different matter. Yes, it's a completely separate topic. It's generally more understandable and closer to American society because Trump recently promised to support Israel in the Middle East. But again, he promised, and we'll see what he actually does. Now everyone is trying to build bridges with Trump to direct him where it's beneficial for them. They speak for him about what he will or won't do, but Trump himself has gone silent, and that's interesting too. What he said during the campaign is one thing, but now it's time to pause and decide what really needs to be done.
Should Belarus expect a warming of relations with the U.S., or at least a constructive dialogue with the new American leadership?
I think the question is what the word warming means. Some kind of friendship, but was there ever friendship between America and Belarus, or between the allied states of Russia and America? We invented this friendship in Russia in the 90s, but there was never any friendship. So in principle, warming isn't necessary. Some kind of normalization is needed. And in general, President Putin, when he spoke at Valdai, said that we are open to dialogue. What will result from this dialogue, and whether there will be a dialogue, we'll see. I think Russia needs to take a fairly active position. But primarily, if we talk about relations between Russia and America, the Ukraine issue is first, and sanctions are second. Trump, of course, won't give any gifts to anyone just like that. He will likely set his own conditions. But overall, he's much less interested in foreign policy than in domestic issues. And he's much less interested than Biden was. But I think we should use opportunities if they arise, because we also need to understand that Trump is only there for 4 years. And what will happen after him is still unknown. So on one hand, we shouldn't expect much. But on the other hand, we shouldn't ignore any opportunities that may arise.
Thank you, Sergei, for your participation in the main broadcast and for your opinion. I remind you that we were joined by Russian political analyst, radio and TV host Sergei Mikheev.